Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X. And today we have something really special. We are about to go in and actually pick up Tim's Pan list. They got 11th place at the San Diego Regional. A lot of people have been wondering about this. A lot of people have been looking for the Pan Reboot spice, and I am here to show you the spice. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to jump in that. Just wanted to say that if this is your opportunity to finally join the Universe X family, I think it's the time. It's the time. Go down the subscription, click that button, like the video so it trends, comment, let us know your thoughts on the deck, the format, how red is, if you think that Pan should join the red dominance to make a red trio, or if you think it's still just Gogeta and Sin with Pan under it. Because I think it actually may be more of a people are playing the other two decks more, not particularly this deck can't hang with them. So that, I think, is actually really cool. But yeah, I'm very excited to show it to you, and I cannot wait to know your thoughts. So let's get into it.
Hey guys, my name is Tim Palacios, and I went to the San Diego Regional this last weekend. I got 11th place with the Pan Reboot, and it was a lot of fun.
All right, so I have to ask, maybe people don't know, I personally know, a lot of people don't know, but what made you choose Pan to take to this regional?
So with Pan, I've been playing her since she was released in set 3 originally, and I played her through multiple years of formats, going into the first ever nationals that we had where I got top 32. I played her in the second nationals that we had where I got top 16, and I played her all the way up until set 8 when I changed decks and she was no longer really viable to play.
Which is like a lot to say because Pan is so generic that for her to be not viable, it's just like the leaders had to come a certain amount of space for that to happen.
Yeah, there was so much power creep that I could not compete anymore. I had to run self-awakeners and everything like that that were always constantly getting countered, and so you could never actually play the game.
I definitely feel that. I was actually having a discussion with a friend last night, and we were talking about the 4 starter decks and their viabilities, and I was just letting them know, because we were talking about Pan, and they were talking about how low-key, they were like, it's underwhelming when you look at the jumps that, like, Kid Goku had from his original release to this one. Even Gotenks kind of got a little update. Trunks is meh. But I straight up told him, I was like, well, you look at all these decks. Gotenks is a fusion deck. Monkey Goku requires so many Bulmas and Goku, or Bulmas and Yamchas and Monkeys. You have the Trunks that's a very tight archetype thing. Pan is just good red cards that mostly have 15k power. And so, like, you have to be more careful about how you handle rebooting a leader like Pan, because you're essentially making like a monster. It'll be as good as red is for I don't know how many sets. And so you have to be way more careful about how you tweak a leader like that.
Yeah, there's everything that was a problem with the deck before. They fixed. They gave her a self-awakening, so I don't need to run self-awakening cards to take my own life. They gave her cheap battle cards, which she didn't have before. You had to pay 2, 3, 4 to summon your battle cards. So now you could summon things for 1. They gave her battle cards with protection. A lot of them have deflect. A lot of them have barrier. And there's a lot of removal in the deck. There's just a lot of power in the deck now to where all the problems that we had before, it's just so simple now. And going forward, every card that they make that's power crept for red, if it fits inside the deck, it just makes her better. There's no way to bring her power down.
Yep. So yeah, I definitely feel like that was on their minds when they were people say that the DBS dev team doesn't really think. I disagree. I just think that sometimes the thought process is missing in certain areas of the game. But right here, they definitely put their thinking caps on with Pan and didn't want to make like some super monster. Like it's wild.
Yeah, they didn't give her a Z battle card, and I think that's for good reason, or a Z leader.
Oh my gosh, if she awakened, I wonder what they would do. I'm still on the fence about being mad that she never went Super Saiyan in GT, and I'm hoping that the current continuity will fix that at some point. But I am excited. I'm excited to see this deck list, and a lot of people have been asking about it. Like, it's like what we were talking about before we started the video. Once you kind of like have a leader as like your legacy leader, it's all downhill or uphill from there. Like, people are constantly asking what you're doing with the deck. They want to know the new spice. Like, A single red card comes out in some random special edition box, and they look at it and they're like, "Hey, yo, Tim, does this go in Pan?" Oh, that's
does this work?
Oh, look, that's a new U7 card that's leader locked to UI Goku. Chris, have you tried playing it in Go? I'm like, bro, like, does that even look right to you? Like, but yeah, we're all excited to see this deck profile. So, did you want to add anything before you went into it?
No, I think we can get right into it.
Alrighty then.
All right, so we'll start with the leader. She's really everything on the front side is the exact same as it was before for the most part. Summon a battle card, give it 5k. If it becomes 20k or more, then you draw a card. The awaken condition is the only thing that changed. Now you can awaken when you're at 4 life or when you have 3 Z energy. Your awaken result is also different, to where before she was an untap 2 leader, now she is an untap 1 and draw 1. And then the backside is the exact same effects. Summon a battle card, give it 5k, draw a card. And so now when you swing, you draw a card as well. And then she has an activate main, which is new. And it's once per turn. Choose one of your Z battle cards that has a cost of 2, and give it 5k for the turn.
Excellent. Nice tame.
Yeah. So as far as battle cards go, I played 4 of the Pan United Emotion. This card reduces the cost in your hand to 1 when you have a Pan leader. And when she's summoned, if you give her 5k, she becomes 20k. When she swings, she has an auto that if she has 20,000 power or more, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck for a red Saiyan and add it to your hand, or a unison specified cost of 3 and add it to your hand. This guy is one of the most powerful cards we have in the deck. Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku Senses Returned. This guy has a lot of text on him as well. He has Deflect. He has an auto. When this card attacks, you choose up to 1 card in your drop, a mono red Saiyan with 5k power for combo, and you negate its skills and you combo with it for the attack. To summon him, he has an activate main for a limit 1 of burst 2, so you flip 2 cards of your deck into your drop, and he comes out for 1. And then he has a activate battle. When he swings, if this card is in combat, then you pay 1, you draw 1 card, you switch it back to active mode, he gains 5k power, and I don't know if I said it or not, but you draw a card. So he can swing twice for a total cost of 2 energy. When you summon him, you give him 5k, so he becomes a 20k. You swing, you activate auto, you combo with a card from drop, so the total combo so far is 25k. And then you activate battle, restand, draw a card, and gain 5k power, so it becomes a 25k for base and 5k with the combo, so he's swinging for 30k. One more thing on this, the activate battle as well is not during just your turn. So if you have 1 energy open and your opponent swings into it, you can pay 1, activate battle, draw a card, and restand him and gain 5k for the turn. This guy is really good too. He's a free cost combo, 5k. When your opponent has 2 or more energy and you combo with this card at the end of the combat, he comes into play in active mode, which Pan will trigger, give it 5k if it's the first thing you summon, and you're going to draw a card. Then, since he's in active mode, if they swing into you again, you can combo with him again and put him in the Z energy. So he's basically 10k total cost in combo. 1k, sorry. 10k in combo. And you basically block 2 attacks with him. He has a couple other autos that when you use a Z battle card and you summon, if he goes underneath the Z battle card, then it gives it 5k for the turn. And then he also gives the Z battle card an auto ability itself that when that battle card swings, it gives something on the board minus 25k power. Played 4 of the Pan Wisher of Miracles. This one is your combo card. So it has an auto that at the end of the battle, when this card is played, then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 10k power for the turn. So that doesn't actually affect until after the battle is done. It has an activate battle for a limit 1 for 1 red. When you combo, if your leader card's Pan, and you combo a mono red card, so if you were to combo this guy, for example, then you can pay 1 and summon this card into play. When you summon this, you draw 1 card as a condition to summon. And then Pan's auto will trigger since it's in the field, and you give it 5k, and you're going to draw another card. So you basically draw 2 with this card. And then once the battle ends, then you give something minus 10k. It's not upon play. So the battle has to end, and then you can play it. Your opponent can combo with the cards if you're using it offensively, so you have to be aware of that if they're going to do that. I played 4 Brawley Crown. This is for all the blue matches. If your opponent has 2 up, you look at their hand, choose a card, 20k, and discard it. 2 of these guys. So Super Saiyan Sun Goten Hyperspeed Rush. These cards are, I'd honestly might bump this up to 3. I always seen it on 2. Didn't really need more than 2, but it's really good to where I'd push it for 3. It has a double strike. It comes in for 1 when you have 3 or more energy. And so it draws a card on play. So you're going to summon it, give it 5k with Pan. It's going to draw a card for itself, draw a card for Pan, so you're going to draw 2. And it has an activate main as well. So once per turn, pay 1. This card will gain 5k power again. And you can choose 1 battle card on your opponent's side of the field and give it minus 20k power. But 2 chain attack Borgos. It has a bond 3 to gain 11k. And then when you play it, you draw a card. So if you have 2 Saiyans already on the board and you play this, then you're going to draw 2. Like 2 chain attack Bardock. This one has crit. It does the exact same thing as this for the bond, except that when this one swings, then you're going to give something on your opponent's side of the field minus 4k for each Saiyan that you have. This came up a couple times. 2 of the Vegeta, Resolve Renewed, counters for 15k or less. 1 Son Goku Divine Presence. This is pretty much for the blue matchups where they can't remove it and just go in with this. Gives dual attack 5k on something as well. This one, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta Spirit Mentor. This is a tech card. I used it for the blue matchup, Super Saiyan 3s, when they're running the Goku at 6, the 6-drop. Has 30k and barrier, deflect, blocker, triple strike, all the keywords, right? And this deck has a problem with barrier removal. So this card will give something ignoring barrier minus 30k. King Vegeta Hidden Ambition at 1. This one just counter all the free play negates like after images, dimension magic, stuff like that that they're going to use sparking on. 1 Kaioken Son Goku. This one is another barrier removal, so you can pitch it for 2, give something minus 25k power, ignoring barrier, or if your opponent swarms the board, just summon it and give everything on the board minus 20k. 1 One-Hit Wonder. Whenever I neg things, this comes into play for free. Another board swarm. My super combo of choice was Beerus. This card, I only have 3 right now. It's supposed to be 4. I loaned 1 back. So this one, when you combo with it, doesn't require a life amount. So it was always live on turn 1, which is really important when you're playing against Sin and they're going in for a triple strike when you're at 6 and you need to get out of it. So you reveal the top card of your deck, add it to your hand. Doesn't matter the color. If it is a red card, then this card itself gains 5k extra combo because it's a 5k combo normally. So it'll become a 10k. If you reveal a yellow card, then you're going to give something on your opponent's side of the board that's in rest mode minus 5k. So it could be a 15k difference. Played 3 topo. This one was fine. This one was fine at 3. I had it at 4. I cut down to 1. There's a lot of answers in the meta that can answer topos. A lot of it are playing Vegeta Resolve Renewed and things like that for 15Ks. So topo's actually a really hard card to counter this format, and it helped me a lot in a lot of games. 1 Champa. Have to give your leader double strike at some point in time. This actually won me 1 or 2 games during the tournament. My Overwhelm of choice, Dark Brawly Heartless Berserker. This is a new one from the set, Overwhelm for 6, and just get rid of something that is 30k, I think? No, just choose a battle card. Never mind. Just any battle card, send it to Warp.
It's good.
3 Violent Rays. That's another card I gave back. One of the best floodgates in the format. 1 cost, something your opponent can swing with 20k or higher, which is a lot of decks are just constantly bombs. 2 After Images. I always set up for sparking. This is my backup negates. When I'm tapped out, I go to this, and it saved me many games. Testing the Opposition. This card's okay in the deck. The problem with this card, though, is if you need to negate the first thing that your opponent swings with, and this is the first thing that you play, then Pan's auto triggers and gives this the bonus. So you don't actually draw. So this is like my last go-to negate. If I absolutely have to negate, then I'm going to use this, but it's only there for emergencies. Now the spicy card of the deck. A lot of people ask what SCRs I run. They go to Vegeta for the 4 cost, blow up the board, burn a life. That card's really good. They go to the Vegito, the new one, Overwhelm. Give your leader a 10k bonus. Quad strike, look at your opponent's hand. That card's good. My opinion is it probably doesn't ever actually deal damage because your opponent will always have a negate. So my answer for the format was everything's playing red. Everything's leaving 1 up for Violent Ray. So why not tap it down and then just swing and not have to worry about negates? So I played this yellow Bardock. Even though it's yellow, it can be played in any Saiyan deck because it has a 3 cost. So it says if your leader card is a Saiyan, then you pay for 3 and it comes into play. And when it comes into play, you choose one of your opponent's cards. It could be leader, could be unison, could be battle, could be energy, and you tap it down. So when they're leaving 1 open for Violent Ray, pretty much the entire format, you summon this, you tap down the energy, and now they're kind of stuck because they were relying on that Violent Ray to save them for the turn. So that's not all he does, though. He has Deflect, he has Double Strike, and he has Dual Attack. So he's going to be swinging for 2 40k swings, both of them being Double Strike, but Pan lead will give it 5k to make it a 45k if it's the first thing you summon. And then the last thing that's really nuts as well is it has an Activate main that you can send it out of the game. You just remove it, and then you choose 2 things on your opponent's side of the field, ignoring barrier, and remove them. And then for the remaining turn, for your opponent's next turn, they can only swing 1 time with 1 battle card. So it's a built-in Nimbus.
See, that was sticky. There was a lot of cool stuff in there. And the secret rare definitely isn't something lots of people would have thought to actually have.
No, it caught a lot of people off by surprise.
So my quick questions would be, when you came into this tournament, what did you find, or when you came in, what did you think were going to be your hardest and easiest matchups going into this event?
So a lot of things crossed my mind. Sin is a very tough matchup that I have to play very carefully. There's a lot of things swinging for big triple strikes. Crit hurts the deck a lot. So I had to build the deck around being able to counter that, either out combo it, stop the attack, get rid of the sins. That was a lot for influences on how the deck is built. Another one is blue, as far as Super Saiyan 3. That once they get a foothold, it seems like it's hard to stop that deck for any deck, really. So I had to build the deck really aggressively and be able to get under them very fast. As far as easy matchups go, I don't know if there's really anything that I would consider easy. I didn't take into account those, but maybe green. I didn't see a lot of green. I didn't see any green, really. Or yellow. So I don't know. It's mostly just red and blue. That's all I faced, and those are all just tough matchups all day long.
That's good then. I mean, it's weird because we're in a position where I have so many conversations with people at this game. I kind of forget where things happen, but we are talking about blue's relevance in the format. And as a run it and gun it red player, I often openly disrespect blue, maybe more than I should. But I think in this format, it's a little weird because the primary 2 red decks that people go to say are the best decks in format right now, they don't hit the same areas, in my opinion, that red normally hits. Like, Sin has consistent interactions, but you know where its pressure is coming. And even when they go first and they can put down a triple striker on their turn 3, the blue player's turn 2 or 2 energy, and swing, blue's running D-Magic, they're running the blocker negates. It's really easy to not get caught lacking by a triple strike that could go crit. And then on the same end, with Gogeta, it has very foreseeable burst turns as well, to the point where it's almost impossible for a Gogeta player to stick their turn without getting dirty bursted on their massive kill turn. So with Pan, it's still to me like a very much so traditional red deck, in where your game plan can straight up be punch blue in the face so that when blue quote unquote stabilizes, it's not really stabilized. It's at a point where even using a sparking negate or a blocker negate puts it in kill range from any swing that you can put out. And I think that's where Pan shines, in my opinion, compared to the premier red decks right now, is that Pan still operates like a normal, aggressive red deck. Whereas the other two are just like, they're red, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I feel Gogeta is a slower red until you get to like 4, and then Sin is active like on turn 3 and later. Pan can go hard starting on her turn 2. Like, you're in trouble if I open the right cards.
Mm-hmm.
As far as side deck goes, shout out to Andy on this one. He figured this one out for us. Shin Noble Supremacy. I wish I would add more. This one is for the Gogeta matchup, and the point of it is if you're going second, then you're going to be on 3 when they're hitting turn 4, and they're going to summon the 8-drop Gogeta and just clear your entire board. So you summon Shin, and for the next turn, they can't summon their 4-drop or their 8-drop, and that gives you a whole nother turn with your entire board to go at their face, which is usually all you need, because then you're just trying to force them to Z-Awaken.
Yes.
Then I played the other for this one is Mechi Kabura, and this one is for when you're going first. So this one I can only activate 3 or less energy, so I have to be on second. This one, if I'm going first, I can activate this on my turn 4, and so when they're going into 4, I can call Gogeta 8, and they won't be able to play it. So it stops. That's our answers for trying to stop the 8-drop.
Excellent.
I played 3 Haru Haru. This is a very old one. This is for all the green and the yellow matchups that I didn't play. But the point is, if I were to play like Trunks Jita, for example, the first battle card that I summon would get put into rest mode, right? So I summon this guy, it goes in rest. I get my bonuses and stuff like that, but I untap all my energy, so I can still go, and not everything else just comes out live and goes swinging. So this is to just get rid of that charge on the Trunks.
Haru Haru was the original masturbator. Like, you just literally play it, and you're like, you know you want to counterplay this. But if you do, yep. I'm going about the rest of my turn.
Yep. So a 4th Topo, if I ever needed it, came in against aggro matchups. 2nd, King Vegeta. A 3rd, Vegeta Resolve Renewed. 2 Wolf Fang Fists. So these, even though I'm not running in unison, I had these come in when I was facing against Syndex that would run their small dragons, the Ice and the Nova. So I would negate him and reduce the power before they could actually swing, or before they could blow it up and get all their effects. So that would help me there. It would also help in the mirror match as well. Give something like minus 15k. But I didn't actually face the mirror.
Also, Wolfing Fist feels like there's almost nothing worse feeling right now as a red player than tapping 2 and getting rid of 2's the energy for rush attack and then just having it wolfanged off the field.
Yep, that was another thing. That was my answer for rush attack as well, because they don't expect it. You're not running innocent. This is going to be, I got one open. Oh, it's going to be Violent Ray. No, it's rush. It's Wolfang. Get rid of your rush attack, because I'm not going to take all those swings. And then Gallic Cannon. This is a random one that people were questioning me on. So this one, it's for mirror match, for example. The first thing they summon, instead of giving the 5k from Pan and then drawing a card, it's just going to go to the drop. I'm going to negate 15, and then they're going to waste their whole card that they summoned. This one can also be for the same, the Shenrons. So those things were actually a problem, because they get under Violent Ray. So I had to have answers for them. And then I had Denial of Hopes. So this one is my answer to Topo. There's nothing in the deck that can answer Topo. Vegeta can't answer Topo. I don't have a thing to bounce it back. If I get Topo'd, my turn's over. So I put in these so that I can answer Topo, and then I can progress with my turn.
Excellent. So well-rounded. Looks like you sided heavily for the red mirrors around.
Yeah.
And again, that was what you were expecting to play. Like, this deck shouldn't have terribly too much trouble with blue, just on the way it operates. And then you have red on red on red on red. Really going.
Yeah, of my 7 matchups, I played 2 blue and 5 red.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Deck.
Yeah. So it's really simple. 3 rush attacks and 4 of my additional SCR. It may as well as be an SCR. This is the whole. This is your kill for the deck. Super Saiyan Force on Goku, Defender of Life. It's really good in red in general, but with Pan, this thing might as well just be an SCR on hand whenever you need it. It has Deflect Double Strike to start off. When this card is played, you choose one Saiyan in your drop, add it underneath this card. So even though it's a 20k base, when you summon it, Pan's going to give it 5k. The card that you summon, or you put under it, is the monkey that I was showing earlier, was the Great Ape here. So you put this card under it. Great Ape gives it 5k power, so it becomes 30k. Then you have an Activate main on the backside of your leader, so you give it another 5k. If you have 4 energy or more, then you tap 1 and on this guy's effect, and it will give him 5k more, so he becomes a 40k base. And it's going to have dual attack for the turn. The monkey here gives it barrier for the turn. So it has deflect, double strike, barrier, dual attack, 40k base, and then the auto on this monkey gives it negative 25k on something on your opponent's side of the field each swing. So this thing is nuts. Not to mention that when your opponent is at 4 life or more, when you summon this card, they automatically burn 1.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Yeah. So I went into this every game, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. This I only summoned maybe 2 or 3 times the entire tournament. It's really, this is all you need in Pan.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty open and shut on that one. Like, Defender of Life, ironically, is like actually the Taker of Life, but whatever, we won't mess around with that. It's just a really, really good card.
Right.
But,
yep. And so that's the deck.
Excellent. So when it comes to this tournament overall, did you have any like closing thoughts on it? Like how you felt? Anything that you think you would have changed or wish you were more prepared for? Or anything?
The only matchup that I really got blown out for was the Gogeta matchup in my very last round. I don't know if there's anything I could have done to prevent that. I lost the die roll. That doesn't help. I didn't have a very good game. The other games, I only bricked one time against my round 6 opponent on stream. That was game 3. I bricked really hard, and there was nothing I could do to change that. But other than that, like the deck flowed super smooth. There wasn't really any cards in there that I'd probably change, at least for that tournament. Everything was exactly what it needed to do, and it answered everything. Maybe have another answer for the 8-drop Sin, but that's kind of it.
Alrighty then. Well, that sounds pretty solid, and it sounds like you are definitely not done playing Pan, so we can expect more tops in the future.
I'm playing it for nationals. It doesn't even matter what comes out next set. This is what I'm taking.
Oh, that's bold. But then again, legacy decks are legacy decks. I'm personally, I keep preaching it, but I am just personally afraid that we got Rise of the Unison Warrior, and that was like so revolutionary. We got all of our we got our Yamchas, our Trunkses, our Frieza Charismatics, Prideful Transformations, and we thought that the format was so snapped, that it changed it so much, and then they turned right around and gave us Vermilion Bloodlines, which introduced 6 decks that either would die off of power creep, I don't know, 6-7 sets later, or needed the actual banhammer to come down in order to stop them. Out of all those, Dark Broly had multiple erratas, Icarus needed an errata, Red Broly needed an errata, Majin Vegeta needed an errata, and then from the other ones, you just had Baby and SS4, which just creep in and out of the format's relevance depending on how slow or fast it is. So it's really scary to me because I'm what if Zenkai Series 1 is just them easing us into the mechanic, and Zenkai Series 2 is them being all right, feet wet, jump in time.
Yeah, I kind of hope so. But at the same time, I hope there's a really decent ban list that comes out, and not that we need one, but just something to shake up the format to where all the nationals leading up to this coming one have been, you go into Nats and you don't know what to play. You don't know what to expect. Ban list just came out a week beforehand, and everyone's scrambling because they don't know what's good anymore. So I kind of like that.
It's scary to me because it makes me feel like my testing means less, but I'm ready to embrace it. My main thing is that before they made this lack of ban list, I thought that they were only going to hit a couple cards. I was look, Swift Retaliation Cooler could probably go. I don't know what else they're going to hit, but coming out with a whole new mechanic, it's not wise to do a ban list because they don't know what's even going to be an issue. And sure enough, we move into this format, and a lot of the cards that we were complaining about previously, or decks complaining about previously, aren't even being played right now. So a ban list would have almost been foolish. They would have hit a bunch of stuff that's not even relevant anymore. But looking at the first couple tournaments, I'm just okay, Sin and Gogeta are definitely doing their thing, but Sin gets better if you just play more hard negates in your deck, and people just don't like playing hard negates. But I'm not sure what they would hit right now, because outside of Swift Retaliation Cooler, I'm just what do you hit in Gogeta or Sin that makes them less, I'm not even going to say oppressive quite yet, but wouldn't just kill the deck? Because those are very archetype specific decks. It's not like you're hitting anything that's going to make them slightly more manageable while still being playable. It's I feel like hits to those decks are going to cripple those decks a set after they drop. So I'm kind of I don't know what we would hit, but if we power creep those decks, I'm scared.
Yeah, I've had this discussion with a couple of people. How do you? There's nothing. Red is the most powerful color in the format. How do you even hit red? It's not like they're busted cards. They're, for the most part, they're balanced. And so, I don't even know where do you go to hit red?
I don't know. They messed up with Gogeta Unison. I think that's for me. They released a couple cards this set that are I have to look sideways at them because I think they're actually problems. They're just not like Gogeta Unison. Red has some of the best 1-drops in the game. Most of their every deck has
that I can see.
And then the top 3 search, I'm not everything about the Gogeta Unison to me is a little snapped. Of course every deck has its 1-drops, but then Crown attached to that is wild. We have our even if you're playing the blue or the anti-untapped floodgates, playing these things for free is actually just kind of wild. And then you have the fact that it comes into play and looks at top 3. I don't think a Unison should be able to be played and just be yep, I'm gonna need this Violent Raise for later, or in some of the worst case scenarios, so in case you were wondering, yes, I am putting my secret rare into my hand this very moment.
I I had that happen to me
Um,
against a certain player. They would look at top 3 like, oh, I'm just going to grab my Veggie SCR. Like, cool,
yeah,
sick.
it's like as long as I see that thing, it's almost impossible for me to miss my curve as a Gohan player because I'm opening up with some of my combo pieces. I'm playing my Unison and I'm fishing another. My Unison is +1ing, playing a 1-drop to searching top 5 for the other pieces of my combo. Like, it's almost impossible not to get the full ride Awaken turn when that Unison is just straight synergy. And then the I really don't like that it's a activate battle for its -4. Like, I know it's better for players that want to just get you, but it's always so whack that you have to sit here and decide whether or not you want to invest your energy on a negate before they have to invest the minus on their Unison. Like, it's just that's always snap. But
that so on that -4 note, when I was on stream, I had a lot of people when I reviewed it say that I should have swung face with my SCR. I summoned my SCR, and it was my last turn of the game basically, and I should have swung face. The reason why I didn't, he was at 6 life, I was at 4, and the reason I didn't was because when I summoned the SCR and I tapped him down, I swung at him to his lead, and I put him to 4 instead of 5 before that. And so I had 1 on energy open, 1 more swing with SCR, 1 swing with leader. If I would have put him to less than 4, so he had a brick in hand, and I figured one of those have to be testing the opposition. He hasn't played it all game. It has to be there. So if I swing at his leader, he's going to negate it. He's going to summon the blocker, and I can't answer it. I'm going to swing with my leader. He's going to block, and that'll be it. And he'll be at 3 life going into my next turn with 1 energy open and not a lot of combo in hand. I can't stop everything. So instead of putting him to 3 to where he can Z Awaken, swing at me with a double strike 20k, use his -4 ability on his Unison, swing at me for a 30k double strike, along with 1 battle card swing, a 30k triple strike, and me eating all of this damage because I can't out combo all that, especially with how many cards he had in his hand. Then I just put his Unison down to 3. I swung the SCR into his Unison, removed 2 markers, swung my leader into his Unison, removed a marker, put it to 3. Now I didn't have to deal with the -4. I didn't have to deal with him Z Awakening, and I was able to basically live my next turn. I didn't know the time was so short. Otherwise, maybe I would have played differently, but I expected another turn, and I didn't get that. So that's why I lost, was 4 life to 3 life, and I didn't get there.
Yeah, time sucks sometimes, and clearly, like, from that explanation, you can see that Tim was valuing the ability to live to his next turn and see what that brought, than to attempt to push for damage on a turn he knew he wasn't going to win, and knew he had a lot to lose next turn if his opponent had access to all of those resources. So, yeah, it definitely makes sense. Well, I will say, thank you for coming on the channel. If you want to give out any shout-outs to teams, channels, like Discords, anything you want to do right now.
Yeah, sure. Shout out to Travis Washburn and Eric Salito. We've been working on Pan since Reboot was revealed, and it's been a lot of fun. Like, we've been theory crafting on all the different SCRs, what cards to put in the deck, what cards not to put in the deck, what things work and not, and they've been great. Along with Andy, who came up and helped me test everything the 2 weeks prior to the event, and then everyone in the East Bay and such like that, all Team Bay over there. So they've all been great in helping me as well. And then, of course, to you for having me on your channel. Shout out to UniX. So thank you for having me.
No problem at all. I'm glad that your teammate commented on my video, and I was like, yo, reach out to Tim. Like, yeah, I'm definitely down. Yep. Like, and then, yeah, this actually got set up. So I'm happy that you were actually here right now. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And thank you guys for coming to view this. If you want to help the video trend, which I don't think it's going to have a problem trending, this is a hot topic, just like the video, comment, let us know how you guys are liking the deck, if this is going to put you guys on the deck as well, because I think that Pan is operating in a space that Gogeta and Sin aren't operating in as red deck. So we could very well have like a 3rd wing of red in the meta. And so I'm just happy to put stuff like this out here. But thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you the next time inside Join Universe X. Later.